Hey, loves. Welcome back to Momster Mash. Today, I want to talk about the Passion of the Christ. Before I go any further, I want to be clear. This isn't just a film to me, because as you know, Jesus Christ is one of my deities, and he is someone I love and someone who's carried me through some of the darkest moments of my life. He's someone I turn to, someone I lean on, someone who's been there for me when I felt completely alone. Also, I walk a spiritual path that includes figures like Hecate. So I exist in both light and shadow, in comfort and confrontation. This conversation isn't about shock value, it's about witnessing. If this story doesn't resonate with you in a religious way, that's completely okay. Because even outside of belief, there's something in this film that asks us to sit with a very uncomfortable truth about humanity. We say it all the time as Catholics. He died for our sins. But what does that actually look like? What does it look like when you strip it down to the body, to pain? That's what the Passion of the Christ does. When the film came out, people said it was too much, too graphic, too violent, too real. And I keep coming back to this thought. Maybe it had to be brutal. Anything less would have let us look away, emotionally, spiritually, not just physically. People say no one could bleed that much, but the human body holds around 7 pints of blood. And I think what really makes people uncomfortable isn't whether it's accurate, it's realizing that the Passion of the Christ depicts the kind of suffering that exists in the realm of possibility. It's harder to distance yourself from it. This is where the horror of this movie comes in. It's not in monsters, it's not in the jump scares, but the physical reaction. This film makes people recoil. It makes people shift in their seats, look away, question whether they should even be watching. It's the same reaction horror has always evoked. Beyond the physical suffering, there's the human horror, and that's the crowd. The same people who welcomed him, who celebrated him, turning so quickly, and then rallying, participating. I think that's what really unsettles me. Because it's easy to say, I would never be a part of that. History tells us otherwise. People follow crowds. People get swept up in the emotion. And then people justify things when everyone around them is doing the same. It's something we've seen happen over and over again, just in different forms. You don't have to believe in Jesus to feel that. You can see this as a portrayal of what humans are capable of when they stop seeing someone else as human. Because the most disturbing images aren't the ones we imagine, they're the ones that reflect something back at us. The best horror doesn't just scare us, it makes us confront something about the world, about others, and about ourselves. And while the Passion of the Christ shows us the weight of human cruelty and the power of devotion, some stories take us even further into the unknown. There's an upcoming film called The Carpenter's Son, inspired by the infancy gospel of Thomas, a text some call heretical because it explores the early life of Jesus in ways we weren't taught. There's something deeply unsettling about stories that explore the unknown parts of something we thought we understood because it removes certainty and it asks us to sit in questions instead of answers. that can feel just as terrifying as anything we've called horror. I don't think we're meant to be comfortable with this story. I think we're meant to feel it, to wrestle a little, because maybe that discomfort is where understanding begins. So, whether you see this as a story of faith or as a piece of art that reflects the human cruelty and the unknown, it asks the same thing of all of us: to look, to stay, and to not turn away. All right, my loves. That's it for today's episode of Momster Mash. If this episode resonated with you, whether spiritually, emotionally, or just from a horror perspective, make sure you follow, rate, and share the podcast so we can keep growing this beautifully strange little community we're building together. You can also find me over on TikTok at MomsterLolo. And as always, stay spooky, stay curious, and don't be afraid to look a little closer at the things that make you uncomfortable. I'll see you in the next one.